Arijit, have you shared that collab with also yesterday?
Sorry,
Because I was trying to search, but
sorry, come again.
I was saying that you were asking to share that collab now. Have you shared with
No,
us?
I didn't share that up. I'll share it today. Okay, so
Okay.
that you understand all the concepts that we are going to cover out there.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, guys, today we will start with an important topic that is known as the function calling. Okay. Now, why do we need that function callings in LLMs? Uh, that is something I'll show you with the help of a demo itself. Okay. Now, are you able to see my screen?
Mm. Yes, Arijit, it's
What
visible.
are, what are you able to see? You are able to see that LLM functions, right?
LLM function
Yes,
called demo.
LLM functions. Yes.
Perfect. Okay. Now, I have created out a demo, and let's try to understand how it is working out. Okay. What's the weather in Tokyo? I asked it a question, and it determined that I'm asking for a location of Tokyo, and it's able to uh, create out the result, and it's able to answer me that okay, I can tell you the weather of Tokyo. Currently, it's sunny in Tokyo with a temperature of 23. Okay, now let's try to change the location name first, and let's see if it is able to answer me the question or not. Okay, so again, it identified the Delhi temperature, uh, but it was not able to answer me out. Okay, now I will again try to ask the question in some other ways. Okay, so this is just a demo, so it's only restricting it to one temperature, but I'll show you in execution. It can also go through any other temperatures as well. But the most important piece of information that I want to show you across over here is I have asked a question like, can you tell me the temperature in Tokyo at the moment? It was able to identify it out. Okay, but now I will try to ask it in a different way. Can you also tell me what is the temperature in Tokyo at in the afternoon today? Okay, I have now rephrased my question. I have some error in my question as well, and then also it's able to extract out that information, and it's able to show some results of it. Okay, now let's try it out with a different question. Now I have asked a question about the mathematics. Okay, and it's able to understand that I'm asking something across this. It's able to do the result, and it's able to do the calculation, and it's giving me the result over here. And similarly, you can see over here that it's also giving you the response of that uh, solution also. Now I will ask something around a different thing, like let's ask it about the uh, food. Okay, and you can see over here that LLM is able to decide that somebody is asking about the food. It's able to generate out the result, and it's able to phrase out the result from the uh, responses that we have got. Okay, so this way, LLMs is able to decide out that what the user is asking, and based on this, it is able to decide what sort of response I have to give across. In this demo, what I have done is I have created out three different functions. One is get current temperature, one is calculate math, and the other one is get today's special. Okay, so first one takes care of the weather, second one takes care of the math, and the third one takes care of the uh, takes care of something like a special, like a food function. Now, just in case, let's say if we are not wanting something like that, I don't want to trick out my function, but I still want the response. That is also possible. Okay. So at the live instant, whenever you're asking a question across, the LLM is able to decide whether I have to call these three functions, or I have to give out the complete response by myself. Okay. So uh, LLM is deciding at the runtime itself that what sort of response I have to give it to the user. And based on that, it's able to decide out, and it's able to give you the responses. Okay. Now, first thing, are you understanding why we need this concept, and why it is super important for you to understand this out? Sai, Kushbu, uh, guys, I need a response. Are you able to understand why do we need it?
Rishi, a bit of I understand that it's,
What did you understand till now? Just tell me.
whenever we ask a question, it will like try to give the answers in different manners also,
Okay.
and other things like temperatures, things
Okay.
also providing
Maybe
us.
something specific to a purpose, we create this function and we implement in application, something like that.
Something like that, correct. So let's say currently which of the ticketing tools you are using within your organization? Salesforce, ServiceNow.
Service now,
Okay.
Jira.
ServiceNow and Jira. Okay. Now let's say ServiceNow has an endpoints as well, right?
Yeah.
And you want to decide of that what sort of response I want to give it to the user. Okay. Let's say to there the user comes to your platform and he asks you a question that how many tickets are assigned to me. Okay. So
Okay.
from this this question which the user has asked across, you have to create out a request for that request, or a body of that request you have to create out.
Oh.
Okay. So let's imagine that thing being creating out automatically by the LLM itself. Okay. We are giving a free form of text. Okay. Tool is able to decide what I have to call, and then it is able to create out a REST API body as well in the real time. Okay.
Ajit, the next you are saying that calculate math, right? That is something you created, or it is just showing the tool name?
It's I created out, and then
Also.
it is able to understand that yes, these are the things I have to get the information from, and what sort of result I have to generate out. Okay. So
Okay.
you can understand, like, it's basically a way where you create out the REST API body uh, giving it to the LLM itself, where LLM decides out like what sort of result the user is trying to ask to me. Okay. So that is the critical thing over here. Now, when I went into this temperature, okay, what's the temperature in Tokyo? It found that the location for which the user is asking the asking the question is about the uh, is the Tokyo. Okay, so then it created out the API request for that, and then it generated out the response that Tokyo is the location, temperature is 22 degrees Celsius, condition is sunny, and the humid response is 60 degree. Okay. So you can see over here that the LLM is able to decide at its runtime what the user is asking, and then it is trying to connect out to the third party tools, and it is able to give you the responses. Okay. So this is the most critical requirement of using these LLMs. Okay, now I'll stop again. I'll ask the question again to you guys, and then you can tell me like whether you are able to understand or not, because this is very critical for the next steps, whatever we do.
It is something like chatbot creation, kind of.
Sort of chatbot is fine, but you have to understand that it is solving certain purposes also.
Okay.
Is it solving? Are you able to still understand, or you would still like me to dig deep into it?
No,
Yes,
sort of
Arijit, I'll just,
overview we are able to get here.
Sorry, come again. Khushbu, what were you saying?
I just wanted, can you repeat it once again?
Okay. Now, let's understand from this perspective. Okay. Uh, you are writing in natural language. Okay. You are not writing anything uh, in a certain code, or you are writing your language in a very certain specific manner. Let's say I have written what is the temperature in Tokyo. Okay. Now I will phrase it in a different manner. Okay. Let's see what sort of response it gives me. Okay. Now you are able to understand I have written my query in a very different format, and that is in a natural language. Okay. And
Mm.
this is not a straightforward question that I've asked it around. Okay. But still the LLM is able to decide out like what sort of question the user is asking. Okay. So my LLM was able to decide out that I have to call, first of all I have to call the get weather function. Okay. And it was also able to decide out what is the input for that function. Okay. Like what is the input parameter of that function, so it's able to decide out the Tokyo is the question. Okay. And then it's able to go to that a weather API, fetch out the results, and then it's able to generate out a response for me. And you can also see that the response from the API is in a JSON output format. But what you are getting is a find structured format. That means that you are able to see that it's able to recite and it's able to adjust according to the user question. So you can see it. I was asking, can you tell me how is the weather there in Tokyo? And the response, what it is giving me out is, currently I can tell you the weather in Tokyo. The current weather in Tokyo is this, and looks like a pleasant and a sunny day here. Okay. Now let me ask the question in a different way. I have put a very wrong wording also. Then also it's able to understand. Again, you can see it's able to understand that the I it has to call the current weather function, and it has to call the parameter as Tokyo, and it was able to generate out the response. But now at this point of time, you can see the LLM is responding in a different format. Certainly, here is the current weather in Tokyo. What I asked, can you tell me the weather in Tokyo? And you can see the response it is giving me. It's a a sunny with a temperature of 22 degrees Celsius. The humidity is currently 60%. Okay. Now let me just ask about the humidity of that of that location. Still again it is able to go to there, and now you can see it is able to restrict out the responses in a very structured order. And even though API is suggesting out all the responses, but it is able to decide by itself that what sort of response I have to give it to him. So I just asked a question about humidity, it just gave me the answer about humidity. Okay. Now let me ask just the temperature of it. So it's also able to do that. And you can also see it's also able to restrict it to the temperature also. I Temperature in Tokyo, I'll ask only give me the temperature. I've just added one additional condition on top of it, and let's see how the response is generated out. Okay, so you can see that it is only giving me the temperature in Tokyo is 22 degrees Celsius. Now, you can understand that when you are asking a question, this LLM function call helps the LLM to decide that what sort of function the user is asking, and what sort of response, like what is the input I have to take from the user input, and what sort of response I have got from the API, and then restrict the response in a such a way that users are able to understand what he is actually asking around. Okay. Now let me try to quote it in a different way. Can you tell me what is the humidity in Tokyo today? And I also want to know its temperature. Only give me these two things, not other than that. Okay, now let's say I have done a very much grammatical mistakes, and this is just to show you that still the LLM is able to understand that what it is looking for. And you can see, okay, I can tell you the temperature and humidity in Tokyo. The temperature is 22 degrees Celsius and the humidity is 60 degrees. So you can see the LLM is adjusting the responses based on the question I'm asking to it. Okay, now let's
Ajit, if I ask something out of the functions that I created, say you have created calculate max,
right,
temperature, and what is special today, na? So if
right.
I'm asking something out of these functions, will it reply?
Let's see what you want to ask.
Um, so suddenly, okay, what is the capital of India? Something.
Okay, still it's able to respond out.
Okay,
Okay,
but right now it is not showing from which function or anything since we
yes.
didn't create it. Okay.
Yes, we didn't create it out that function, but still it is able to respond. But
Okay.
that is the capability that LLM is able to decide out. So that means you are if you are using the function call, you are giving it some external informations as well. So you can connect out to the external information, like you can do the Google searches, you are doing some API calls, and you can connect your LLM to those endpoint or APIs for which the information is currently not available with the LLM. Okay. Now let's try to do out some calculation stuff. Okay. Now I will try to change the calculation that I'm trying to ask it to it. Calculate the value of 120 into 120 plus 60. Okay, let's see what it gives me. So you can see that it was able to generate out the response and it's able to give me the response over here. Just a minute, guys. So guys, you are able to see that I asked it a different question and it was able to do those calculation and it was able to give me the responses. Now let me just try out some more different calculations. So you can see, why do you think that it is not able to give me that answer, this answer? Think about it. Can you think like why it is not able to give this answer while it was able to give me some simple mathematical answer?
Maybe because we have not created any functions for the calculation of trigonometric operations.
Correct. That is the case. Okay, if you create that up and then you can see how it can give that response also. Okay, now let us try to ask some things around the food menu, what it is giving me out. So you can see that when I was calling out the function call, it was calling out a get current weather function. Okay, and the input for that was Tokyo. Okay, like input argument for that function was Tokyo. Now when I moved into this question, question like what is today's food value, you can see the function call has suddenly changed out. It's going to a get today's special with the argument menu type food. Okay, and let's try to ask if it is able to give me a response on this or not. Today's veg special. So you can see that it's still able to decide out that I am asking some questions and it's able to relate it to some food actually. Okay, and then that's why it's able to call out that function. Okay, and now if I ask something around a different pattern.
Sorry to interrupt. One doubt.
Yeah.
So if you see the response is same, right?
Yeah,
It
it's
will
just
not generate different because you have already defined the function and the response.
correct, correct. But
Okay.
how you can adjust those dynamically, I'll show you that. Okay. This is
Okay.
just the demo, just to give you an idea around like how and what all things you can do with the help of function calls. Okay. Just
Okay.
understand the concept, like whatever input you are able to give in, we have created out three different functions, each function performing a different task. And whenever you are giving your function at the runtime, and in the actual runtime it is able to decide out that whether I have to call my weather API, whether I have to call my math calculation function, or whether I have to call the food calculation function. Okay, and all that with the simple natural language processing by itself. Okay, this is not possible with any of the REST APIs or any of those places or any of those APIs where you can provide in this simple natural language and you will get out the response. Okay, now when you create or send out any API calls today, let's go into a weather API. Okay, now let's say we have a weather API. Now we will just go into its doc first. Okay. Now, when you call a weather API, it says that it needs the latitude, it needs the longitude, part or API key also. Okay, and you can also see if your API key is something that you like. This is a dynamic API API call that you can give it to the external APIs, and LLM is able to understand your natural language and then create out the input for you in this format so that API can understand what the user is asking today. Okay. Now, when I try to go over here, okay, and I am trying to play around with it. Okay. Now, let's try to do some more information and some more play around with it. Can you also make it dynamic for any locations where I want to send get the weather details? Okay, now I am trying to make it more dynamic in nature. Okay, so that it tries to understand that even if I don't give temperature like a location as Tokyo, still it is able to understand and it is able to give me the responses. Okay, now another time I would like to understand, are you trying to understand and visualize why these LLMs are necessary now? LLM function call, Khushbu and Sai.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yes, Arijit. It's means like we can define our model
own
for specific and functions for that. Whatever our requirement is, we can use that.
correct. And that means you can just give your requirement in a structured order and then you can get out the responses from it. Okay. And that can responses will be very dynamic to your requirement itself. Okay. Now let's see another example over here. I'll explain you how this is getting created, how it is helpful, and all those stuffs. I'll explain you its Colab and everything. Just understand from this demo that what we are trying to do over here. Okay, because that is super critical than understanding how it is being done.
Sure.
Just a second, let me just reload it. Now let's ask it what is the weather in London, and let's see. It's able to decide out and it's able to give me the response. Now let me change the temperature Tokyo, and let's see whether it's able to give me a response or not. It's able to decide out the location of Tokyo and give me the response. Now let's try to give it the temperature of Delhi. It's able to understand and it's able to give me the it's not able to give because this is still something that is not it's not able to decide out how to give out the temperature for it. Okay, now if I give something around another location like Berlin, and let's see, it's able to decide out and it's able to give me the responses. Okay, I am trying another location now, New York. Let's try to see it out. So any time whenever you are trying to provide in the informations, you can see out that in the actual conversation, with the help of actual conversation itself, it is able to decide out that which temperature, which location the user is asking the information for, and based on that, it's able to generate the function calling, and then get the result, and then create the response in such a way that it can help answer the user queries. Okay, now this is something that is like the importance of it, like you tend to understand why is this needed out. Okay, we will now dig deep into why both the things are important. Okay, now function calling is a way that helps the LLM to decide out at a certain point of time what the user is asking for. Okay, and it also gives you a capability that you can connect it out with this external application like a Google searches, or you want to connect it out some to some documentations, or you want to connect it out with certain APIs, and you want that this capability should be coming up in a natural language processing. Okay, now let's say today you are working on some ticket. Okay, and from the ticket it is very important for you to extract out the certain information. Okay, so what you can do over here is give that similar text as an input to the function calling. It will able to decide out what are the most relevant information from the ticket that is necessary for the API request. It will able to extract those relevant information. It will create out the REST API call, and then it will give me the response with that. Okay, so that is the case, and the way this things work out. Okay, now there are two important components into it. What are the input parameters? What are the return values you need? Okay, input parameters are something like the function arguments, function inputs that you give it out to your LLM, and based on that it is able to generate out the responses for you. Okay, and these return values are then given out into the LLM, and it's able to decide out what is the required information the user was asking me for, and what is the response I need from that request that I've generated out. Now first, I will take a stop over here, and I'll still ask you around. Do you have any questions, or you are still finding it difficult to understand? Let me know. I'll then recite it in a better way so that you can understand it better. So, any problem till now, and you want to get more information around it? Uh,
Uh, it's a bit clear to me, Ariju. Like
okay.
we are just creating a model based on some functions, process functions, maybe whatever we wanted to do from that model, and then it will provide us the return values as we are while creating the functions. We whatever the input is, it's provide the answers, and maybe we are feeding some examples into it for the learning of that model, some documents or some ticket things, or with the help of API calls
API,
as well.
right. Perfect. Yeah, please complete your thought first.
Yeah, means like with the help of APIs, like we can connect with that so that it will extract some. some things, and it will provide us the solutions over that.
Perfect. That is the actual requirement over here. So, Sai, what did you understand from this?
Yeah, it's like we are creating function which is working along with the LLM. So whatever the natural language we are typing in, first step it will just converting to the tokens, like which one to get processed, the exact parameter it is getting, and it is passed to the function, and that decides and executes and provides what is the JSON response and provides us the result. So that's how the chain is working. So right now we are specifically creating few functions based on the requirements, or in generic also we can connect to the LLM world.
Correct. That is the case. Okay. And let's say your company's information or a API request from where you're fetching your information today. That information is not available within the LLM. So how to get and feed it into the LLM? This is the way. Okay. Now, would you like to see how these things are being created out? What we have just seen
Like,
across?
sorry, one doubt.
Yeah.
One doubt. Okay, suppose right in ChatGPT, I am typing some requesting like what is the color of national flag. Okay, it is a generic one. So, but in case if I want to ask something specific to my company's internal data, so I'll not get in the open open environment. So we are creating a function feeding the data from our company, and with the help of LLM, we are generating the data. Correct?
Correct.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. That is the case. Now, I will also find out one more example for you guys because that will give you much better idea around it. And there is an SQL demo. Let me show you that also. That will also give you an idea around it. Uh, just give me a minute. Just give me a minute. I'm just seeing which one. Demo. Okay. Now let's see over here. Okay. Uh, we have just seen the example of one APIs, and we have seen the example of a natural language. Okay. Now let's see. We have a BigQuery table, or you have any SQL table, which is available within your organization infra. Okay. But you want that it should be able to LLM should be able to understand. It should go into the database, fetch out the results, and give it back to me. Okay, now let's say first we ask it a question around what kind of information is available in my database. Now let's see. Just a second. Okay, sorry, this is not working out. But what I want to say you across is like you can see that this is not only restricted to just your one. Let me show you another demo itself. That will give you a better idea. Are you able to see this screen demo?
Yes, Aditi, it's visible.
Through the new BigQuery Studio UI and get you familiar with the capabilities we discussed in this module. In the Cloud Console, we go to BigQuery and then click on BigQuery Studio to launch it. When the UI launches, you will see the button to create SQL queries. Later, which we already have, AI pane, we can then ask a more specific question, like how do I learn which datasets and tables are available to me in BigQuery? And the response gives you guidance on how to go about doing that via the console or API, as well as using the information schema. And it also provides you with the SQL to query the views. All right, let's close the Duet AI pane for now, and we will come back to it in just a little bit. Apart from the Duet AI in Cloud Console you just saw, there is also Duet AI in BigQuery, which can assist you with more specific BigQuery-related tasks. So click on the button here and follow the steps to join the Trusted Tester program. And you see a list of features you can get help on, like SQL completion, SQL generation, and SQL explanation. We will look at each of these in action. Let's start with SQL explanation. Say you are collaborating with a team of analysts and chance upon one of their rather complex SQL statements. You can paste it in the query box, highlight the query, right-click, and select the Explain Current Selection option. The Duet AI pane will open on the right and provide you with an explanation of the SQL statement. At the top, you see an overall explanation of what the query does, with a more detailed breakdown below. It tells you the data sources being queried, and all the other aspects of the query, like the join condition, how the results are grouped, how the results are sorted, and the limit clause, followed by a summary too. Alright, that was useful when you have the SQL query. But what if you need help in writing one? Duet AI can help you there as well. Click here to open the SQL generation widget and write what you intend to query in natural language. It may help to be specific with details like tables and aggregations. Once ready, click on the Generate button, and in the response, you see a query written for you based on the prompt you provided.
Can you see this thing? This is the most important thing that I wanted to show you guys over here. The user is just asking the question, okay, and she's just typing it in natural language, and the SQLs are being generated out behalf of the schema that she has provided out. Okay, why is this possible and how it is possible? Just because of this function calling features only, because it is able to decide out, like, the user is asking some questions to the uh, database information that is available within the BigQuery. It's able to decide out which table he might be talking of, and then in the real time it's able to decide out and give you the responses over here. Okay, so this is the basic need of why we need such type of function calls. Okay, now let's go into a Colab and try to understand how do we create this thing out. Okay, now in this yesterday what we tried out was, we tried out a simple prompt engineering function. We just gave the simple function and we saw that what sort of response we are looking forward to. Okay, this was a simple prompt when we were trying to run it out. Now what happened over there was it's fine. So what happened over there was, you were just writing your simple prompts, and based on that it was able to give you the responses out. Okay, now in order to give it as a function calling inside the LLM function calls, what you have to do is, first of all you will have to create out this first function. Okay, now what this function has, it function gives in this tool we give a JSON element like type, and we give it the name as function. Okay, now this function has to be given some name around. Now I have given the name as get weather. Okay, and parameters are type, object, and properties. Properties is the most important thing. Location, I have given that I need the location as the most important input to it. And then I gave the type, and I have given that the location should be in the form of a string itself. This is a way you decide out like how to give the essential information to the tool, so that it can decide out what sort of function the user is trying me to solve for. Now let's try and pass this into the similar question, and let's see what sort of response it gives us out. So you can see that this function call, it was able to decide out the location was Delhi, and the function the user is trying to ask is get weather. Okay. And it's also able to uh, generate out in the function call itself that the user is asking for this information, that he's asking for the location function, and the function which uh, I need to call is get weather function. Okay. Now we will just try to replicate that up over here and see it out how you can call it in a certain way. First of all, are you able to understand this piece that we are trying to do over here?
Yes, Aditi. We have just created a function and we are calling it function inside our model and then calling it uh, into
Perfect.
like
Right. Right. Is it also clear to you, Sai?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. I'll also create out similar to this. I have also created out one
So
more
this
thing.
tools, that code syntax is something that we need to make sure
Follow.
these parameters we have to follow.
Correct. Right. Okay, now there is one more way of doing it. So let's say one was a weather function where I've not given any description. Okay, and there is another way of writing the same solution over here is uh, like get the delivery date for the customer order. Call this whenever you get to know the delivery date. For example, when the customer is asks you where is my package. Okay, now let's say uh, you are developing out a chat solution today. Okay, now a user is coming to your platform, he can ask you question in any format. Okay, let's say the user is asking me where is my package. Okay, but as in order to go and search for that information, that where is the user's package, what input you will need? You will need that what is the order id, or what is the package id, or what is the id that is critical for you to understand in order to go and find out that order details and to track where that order is at the moment. Okay, so that is the way when you try to give it to as an information in the description, it gets the parameter like properties, it gives the property like type. uh, Again, I have given the string and I have given the description as the customer's order id. Okay, and I have also given one more information over here that it is required always. Okay, order id is needed. Okay, if it is not needed, if it is not given, then ask for that id. Okay, now let's say how the user is asking me if the user is asking a question, can you tell me where is my id, where is my package id, and let's see what it gives as the response. You can see I can could you please provide me your id so I can check the delivery status for you. Okay, now let's say I just uh, type it in a different way. uh, can you tell me where is my package for the ID ABC12345? Okay, let's see what it gives me the response now. Okay, just a second. No, sorry. Now, what it is not able to do over here is it's not able to fetch out those required informations. Okay, even if I've created out a function, it's not able to decide out and it's not able to give me those informations additionally. Now, let me just create it out in such. Uh, let's create and try to work it out in a different way. Now, I have given it a question that can you assist me the delivery of your package? I will need your order ID. Could you please provide me that? Now, let me say my ID is okay. So you can see that response is now coming from the function 2, and it's able to give me the response that your order ID will be delivered by 10th of June. Okay, that means now I have given two functions to it. Okay, that means this is my first function, which was related to the order ID, and this was my second function, which was related to the weather of that location. Okay, and I am trying to ask him those questions in this in here, and I've also given it a set of instruction that you are a helpful assistant and your task is to just perform and help the user with this user assistance. And you can also see over here that the tools that we created on the top. Okay, you can create multiple functions like these, and you can just directly pass it into the instance of your API call of the LLM, and then you can see that what sort of response it is able to give it out. So at the time runtime itself, it's able to decide out whether I have to call out my temperature function or whether I have to call out my get delivery function. Okay, now let me just try it out with a different function in the input. Now I will ask a question: what is the temperature in Delhi? Let's see what it gives me as a response over here. Okay, so you can see weather in Delhi is very foggy and its temperature is 6 degrees Celsius. Okay, now here you can see that it was able to decide out that for this function, what function I have to go to. It has to go to this weather function. Okay, and what is the location the user is asking is about Delhi. Okay, now I will again ask the question like where is my package? Okay, you will see that it is not able to give me that piece of information, but you can see that the message is it is able to decide out that what is the most important piece of information that the user is trying to ask for. Okay, and you can see over here that it is giving us as none. Okay, that means it did not got the required information for that function in order to give you the right response. Okay, now I will just give it a information that my order ID is 12345. Okay, and let's see what sort of response it gives me. Now you can see that it is able to give you the response that the order ID will be 10th of June, and you can see that it was able to decide out that I had to call the get delivery function, and my argument as an input for the function was this. Okay, that is what I have given it to the a user as an input function, as an input to the my as an input in my natural language processing. So you have to take care if you need some information that is very super critical for you in order to give out a function call, then you give it as a required order ID. You can give all those requirement in the requirement list itself, like order ID, order date, or something of that sort. And just in case you don't need such things, and you just need to extract out the information that is very relevant to you, you can also use the second approach over here. So this is two ways of writing your LLM calls. So one is where you give the description, you give the description of your properties also, and you give the description of your uh, description as the required parameters also. Okay, and the other one is where you are not giving anything, but you're just giving it the set of required informations only, and based on that it is able to extract out the information. First thing, are you able to understand the difference between first and the second approach that we are doing? Sai and Khushbu,
Yes, Ariji.
what did you understand in this, Khushbu?
Suppose actually we are just training, providing training to our model. We are just creating a piece of a model that will provide us the delivery date or weather based on some questions asked by the user. And in it, one thing will be critical, or means like we need it whenever we need to get the answer. Like if it's a order ID based something critical, otherwise it will not answer your question, because in LLM it has speed like that, like we need our order ID which is required, and same in the another functions, like, and it has means it has embedded. We have created a one tool in which we have called two functions, and on the basis of the questions, it is decided to like which functions we need to call. Like it's a order ID based functions or whether functions or delivery functions. So
Perfect. This
yeah.
is was the actual thing that I wanted to make you understand. And Sai, did you understood that thing out?
Yeah, yeah, whatever she said. I'm just wondering, like this code we can generate, right? Like these conditions and all, or we need to have some syntax we need to learn accordingly.
So, in the beginning, I would like that AI is now able to generate everything for you. Okay. But I
Okay,
want in the first beginning, you should try it by yourself to understand what it is trying to do out. Okay.
okay,
And
okay,
I want that once you do a hands-on over it, you will then get an idea like what all things you have to uh, keep in mind while making those connections out. Okay.
okay.
Now, I will also share you this thing today, and I am writing a use case for you guys to work on. Okay. In the next class, we will first work on this use case, and then we will go to the next steps. Okay. Now, in this use case, you will have to cover out. First, you have to like write the Gemini Python script. Okay, and give the prompt to it, and then get the response from it. Okay, then you have to write a function calling for Gemini. Okay, third thing you have to do is create two functions. One connects to the weather API. So weather API has a free API that is available, that you can use it from internet. Okay, and I need that you are able to create out this weather API, and whenever I'm giving out a free form of a text, it should be able to adjust the responses according to it. Okay, and then I also want that you should integrate Google searches as well into it. Okay, so there should be two function calls, like one function call dedicated to API, and then the second function call is for the Google searches. Okay, so these are the things that I want that you should try out in our before coming to next class, because this will give you an understanding why do we need both of these things. Okay, and is the requirement clear to you? You have any questions regarding this?
Uh, Arijit, first question is related that we need to create one simple Python script which is connected with the Gemini. uh, generative AI tool sets, and means like whatever we are asking, we are giving the prompts and it will provide us the answers.
Correct.
Simple the Python language, we need to create all this stuff now. Can't we?
Correct, right. So in this, I have given you an example for the OpenAI model. Okay. But I want that you should try this out for the Gemini model. Okay. So
Okay,
that
okay.
you guys can have a understanding that whatever we are trying to do over here, what is the purpose and how you can think through it. Okay. Now let's say why I'm focusing on the Google searches integration with the help of prompt. Okay. Now let's say you are working for some marketing company and that company needs some real time information on the data set, and or they need some real time creativity or reference articles that are available on the internet. Okay. If you are able to integrate those Google searches directly into your prompt, you can see how extensively how good your responses will look like. Okay. So in our response today in a demo app, when I was showing you, it was not able to solve all the problems for you. Okay. But I want that if you are able to integrate the Google search, you can think through how what is the level of connectivity you are able to give it to the prompts of yours itself. Okay. And this is very important because if you will experiment and try out these exercises, then the next phase of it will be AI agents, and those AI agents will make your life very easy, and you can then create out lot of use cases on top of it. Okay. Now writing a prompt is one thing, integrating it with the help of APIs and Python scripts is one thing, but integrating it with the help of function calling is the most important piece, because this is the brain of your AI agents. This is where it decides out what all task it has to do. That means it will decide out with the help of this thing only that whether I have to do perform this function or whether I have to perform out that function. Okay. And I also want that you should also do one more thing over here, that it should only uh, okay, now let's see, just focus on these two functionalities first, then we will see how to create out a more important functions on top of it. Okay. So is this requirement clear to you?
Yes, Arjit.
Arjit, the third
Please
point,
share
like
this one. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, third point what?
third point is that it's like we need to create one it's like one tool in which we need to call the two functions, one for weather API, and it's like weather API is related with only weather, and if question is asked apart from weather, it will search for the Google searches.
Correct.
Same manner.
Correct. Okay. And I want that you should try the real time API over here. Okay. Now let this weather APIs are very extensively available for you, and you should try this real time API example and try to play around and see the responses over here. Okay. That makes sense to you guys?
Yeah.
Okay. And you were asking something, Sai.
No, no, just provide us access to it so
Yeah.
that we'll.
And guys, make a copy of it before running it out at your machines. Okay. And one more thing over here, like these things are very critical, and keep these API keys sensitive and very like use this API extensively just for your use cases only. Okay. And make it very private, and don't share it across with anybody else. Okay. uh, Sai, can I get your, this one is
Yeah.
your Khush, Khushbu, what's your email ID? This one,
So
right?
first,
This one, right?
yes, yes.
Okay, perfect. Uh, just check it out. Uh, I'm giving you the viewer access for this. Just check out. Are you able to make a copy of it? Khushbu, can you check it out? Is it editable? Are you able to make a copy over with this?
Rishi, it's loading this thing.
Okay. Sai, you are on your machine or you're working, like you're on your phone?
Phone, Archit.
Okay.
Creating, I think, just creating copy only.
It's creatively copy, right? Khushbu, it's done, right?
Yes, Ariji.
Okay, perfect. Then now in our next class, guys, we will focus around creating out more apps, more solutions with the help of these function calling on you. Okay. Now try to focus more time over here so that you can use that as the next step for your AI